Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Developing nuanced cultural stories with writer Mary HK Choi. Where has your career path taken you? Mary HK Choi is the New York Times bestselling author of Emergency Contact, Permanent Record and Yolk. She is currently adapting her books for television and film, and has previously written for The Atlantic, The New York Times New York, GQ, Elle and Vice News, contributed to the book because you know how much you will fall in love or identify with the characters, their worlds and their stories. You don't want the book to end. Balancing life's traumas, coupled with a touch of hope and humor, leaves you wanting more. Her books let you know that it's okay to not be okay, and that life's changes will get us there, become where we're meant to be, said Carol Lim, creative director at the opening ceremony. Mary HK Choi has an innate gift for making literature fun, fresh, and incredibly engaging. She connects with you in humor, heart and everything in between. She also has one of the sharpest and clearest voices I've ever heard. Every time I've worked with her has been nothing but amazing, and I can't wait to work with her more. I just look forward to hearing more about everything and everyone she does, says Lucy Yu, owner of You and Me Books. Mary HK Choi sat down with Forbes to talk about her winding career path, the lessons she has learned and more. Goldie Chan. Hello Mary. Thank you for joining us at Forbes. Mary HK Choi. Messy? Unpredictable? Mysterious and benevolent? I started out in magazines, which means I had sold my used car in Texas for just enough money to move to New York. I had 2 suitcases, 0 connections, and was an unpaid intern at an art magazine in Brooklyn for the few months it took me to become a music editor's assistant. Over the next few years, I worked my way up the ranks, fact-checking, selling pages, and eventually becoming editor-in-chief. In my late 20s, I started a women's lifestyle magazine called Ms. Bev, which started after the recession caused by the subprime mortgage crisis. That means I never made any money until my mid-30s and never moved in my first 6 apartments without my LSAT textbooks, in case I needed them. From there I freelanced, working at MTV Bit, working as a host at Vice News on HBO, while also completing a draft of a young adult novel that became Emergency Contact, a love and fear story that inspired me, been floating around in my head for years. I wrote it based on a YouTube tutorial on how to plan a 3-act 27-chapter novel, and literally googled how many words put together would count as a book. My agent at the time didn't love it, so it sat in a drawer for a year, and then another agent asked if I was working on something, so I showed it to them, and then we sold it at a sizable auction. The truth is, I've always been cowardly admitting to myself and others exactly what I am looking for. Choi. Egg yolk. It's about 2 sisters, Jane and June, who live in New York. Everyone, including the place, is unrepentantly messy, unpredictable, and utterly indifferent to other people's opinions of them. The book I am working on now comes to mind as well, not because it is fun, but because it absolutely kills me. Choi. Stakes. It is funny, but some people call my characters unlikable, but I think that is what I find most relatable about them. It is humbling and humiliating to see people thrash about so magnificently and flinch in spectacular ways and make fun of what they want most in life. Choi. The Daniels. Every interview I have read or heard and every anecdote is imbued with joy and generosity. I loved everything at once. I saw it at a screening long before the reviews and didn't understand at all what I had just seen nor why I cried so much. The time, work, and rewrite are almost a given, but it is a heartbreaking idea, considering that this ambitious iconoclastic film could be the result of kindness, humility, and a truly collaborative process. Choi. Bad. I experience every waking moment with a sword of Damocles hanging over my head because the material fact of a book deadline feels like homework forever. The same with scripts. And the pressure of this looming pilot I am working on that contains every wish and dream I've ever had in my life. I am constantly in a race against mortality to publish these stories. I take great care of it. Too much. I don't know how else to be. I am so interested in the work because it forces me to constantly think about why people do the things they do. My partner recently mentioned that I write about dysfunctional families to better understand my own, or to force those families into made-up situations that I wish my parents had created for me. Choi. Those mistakes that are worth making, that you learn from, and that improve your talent and voice are not the ones you can foresee. That you will always make mistakes and that every triumph contains disappointments.